everyone! If there's anything that I love just as much as cocktail hour, it's got to be tea time. But how can you enjoy the tea unless you have something sweet, right? So today we're making banana bread. I typically like my banana bread really plain because I'm just basic like that. But one friend of mine said that they wanted walnuts in it. The other friend said that they wanted chocolate chips. So I figured, why don't we just make an everything banana bread with all these fun stuff that I can find in my pantry. I also really have a thing for pretty looking fruits and vegetables, but my father used to always say something to me when I was little that I always remember.
Do not waste your food. Many people are starving.
This is a really easy recipe that I found and slightly tweaked. I hope you guys enjoy it. Some all-purpose flour, sour cream, bananas, 3 to 4 of them, some brown sugar, chocolate chips, walnuts, baking powder, vanilla, 2 eggs, and a stick of unsalted butter, and a little bit of salt. First things first, don't forget to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And next we're going to line our loaf pan. So I don't really know exactly the size of this, but I'm gonna measure it for you later. But you're going to take a piece of wax paper or a parchment paper. Parchment's actually better, it's just that I don't have it right now. And you're gonna set this right in the middle. Now, with these fingers, you're going to go into the corners of your loaf pan and press down on that wax paper just until you get an indentation and a mark of where those corners are. See that? Take your scissors and cut right to those indentation marks. You're gonna push that back in, right where you made the marks, and you can just fold the corners in. I actually made it a little bit way too long. So if you want, you can just kind of cut out a little bit of that major excess. Honestly, a little bit of excess is really good. I really like the overhang because it makes it so much easier for you to pull out the bread when it's done. But I was so extra. And there you have it. Voila! Now we're gonna set this aside. The next thing to do is to take a little bowl and we're going to be mixing all of our dry ingredients. Now I've already added 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour over here, 1 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now with a little whisk, we're going to mix it all up. Just make sure that there aren't any huge lumps of flour, but you don't have to be perfect. Now we'll set this aside. Okay, now we're doing all the wet ingredients in a slightly larger bowl. So what I did was I took a stick of butter and I melted it in a pan and brought it back to room temperature. Why? It's just way easier. I mean, why do it the hard way when there is a shortcut, you know? And add 1 cup of brown sugar. So now we're just going to whisk this to combine it till it's nice and gooey. We're going to add 2 eggs, but 1 at a time. Why? Honestly, I don't know. That's just what everyone does. So I'm a rule breaker, but not when it comes to baking. We're going to mix this and combine it before we add our other egg. It's also really important to cool down your butter before starting this because trust me, you do not want to end up with scrambled egg inside your mixture. Okay, that's good. And we'll do 1 more egg. All right, next we are adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/2 cup of sour cream. This actually makes your banana bread really nice and moist. I know people don't like that word, but you know you like it when you eat it, right? And if you don't have sour cream, you can also use plain Greek yogurt or I think it's mascarpone, and those work just as well. Now we're going to mash 4 of these bananas. You actually like it when the skin is a little bit browner because it means that your banana is sweeter. God, these bananas are alive. They're so ripe that they're literally just like falling out of the banana peel. Okay, and now we take a fork and we start mashing. You can also use a potato masher if you want to, but I just find that a fork works just as fine. And also I don't own a potato masher. I mean, if you own a potato masher, you must eat a ton of mashed potatoes. Now, this is looking pretty mashed up, don't you think? All right, now we're going to add our dry ingredients into our wet ingredients in maybe around 2 batches. And what you're trying to avoid is really just like over mixing or overdoing it. What I like to do is actually fold it rather than beat it. It's just a lot gentler and you're not really doing too much. So we'll start with half of our flour. And do a little bit of a cut and fold. The reason that you don't want to do too much is because the more you aerate, the more the gluten forms. And what that does is it makes your banana bread really tough. Nobody likes a tough banana bread. Be sure that you also get the bottom part of the mixture because sometimes you can leave some wet pockets down there. Now we're mixing in our mashed bananas. Yo. So again, you don't want to over combine this. You just want to do it until there aren't a lot of flour pockets that are left. Like, you know, the whole ones. Like, I think it's kind of gross when you bite into banana bread or any bread or anything really and you just kind of bite into flour. Not cool. Really cute, really sexy. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of crushed walnuts and some chocolate chips. Now the rule of thumb is for one recipe, you don't want to go more than a cup of other add-ons. So I ended up with a little bit over 1/3 of a cup of walnuts, which I'm going to dump into the batter. And I'm reserving some for the top. I'll show you guys why in a little bit. Next, I'm going to put in probably around the same amount of chocolate chips. We like heaps, so, all right. And then we combine. Now we're going to dump our batter into our loaf pan. Push out the corners. Make sure that the top is nice and flat. Now before putting this in the pan, we're going to top our batter with some of those things that we put in. So I have some of the leftover walnuts and some chocolate chips. It's kind of a cool preview of what's inside, right? No surprises here. And then I like to sprinkle a little bit of brown sugar. This is actually some coconut sugar. But I like to sprinkle a little bit on top because then when it comes out, you have this nice, almost caramelized top layer that just makes it so much more extra. All right, and now this is ready to pop into the oven. In about 60 minutes, our banana bread's going to be ready. All right, so now I'm gonna do a quick toothpick test and see if this is ready. All you wanna do is take a little toothpick, put it through the center, and if it comes out clean, you are done. Well, now we've made it to the worst part of this baking process. It's letting this cool down for 15 minutes because I'm gonna be sitting right next to the stove. It's gonna smell like heaven and I can't touch it. So 15 minutes and we'll be right back. Guess what time it is? Taste test. To be very honest, this actually hasn't cooled down in the amount of time that's required, but I could no longer wait. More power to you if you can. Let's see what this is like. I thought I didn't like walnuts and chocolate chips and banana bread, and I think I've officially changed my mind. This is so amazing. All right, guys, if you ever make this at home, don't forget to tag me on Instagram. Stay happy, stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy your quarantine and chill. Bye.
Ate, just to remind you, don't waste any food. So only, many people are starving, most especially those countries that are affected by quarantine. All their money has been spent. Now the people, especially here in the far-flung provinces,
Yeah.
they're looking for food.
Okay.
That's why the government is trying to allocate supplies so these people won't go hungry.
Okay, Dad.
So I always remind you, do not waste your food. Many people are starving.
Okay, Dad.
Okay?
Okay. Love you.